and welcome to another episode of the Seasonal Tokens Podcast, where Polar interviews people so you can do more investing and less gambling.
Power here, the CMO of Seasonal Tokens. Welcome on another episode of the Seasonal Tokens Podcast. And today we have another special guest. We have the second lady on the show. We have the blockchain consultant Q. So welcome, Q.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. So it's an amazing pleasure to have another lady from Web3 to share her knowledge and experience about crypto investing. So prepare for a lot of interesting questions. And I hope that our listeners will get a lot of gold from your thoughts. So before that, can you introduce yourself with a few words?
Yeah, sure. So I entered the blockchain space a few years ago, just through investing, I would say. And then later on, I actually started loving it so much that I started also working in it. So now I am an investor as well as like a blockchain contractor consultant for a variety of projects. And I step in and help them mostly with business operations and finance.
What has made you choose Web3? Why you are not doing this in the Web2 world?
Mm-hmm. I really believe in Web3. I really believe in the decentralization of systems and processes and platforms. And I think the world has, moved into, is currently like finding itself in a spot where it's really important that people can contribute kind of like equally to any kind of platform and openly and, with free speech. And I think crypto is really fast forwarding, moving into such an environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that crypto is helping a lot with making things equal for everyone, not only for the platforms, but also for the people who are providing the content. It doesn't sound very fair to like the companies to benefit the most from something that you have created. So I definitely agree with you. Let me start our discussion about being a woman in Web3, because I'm really excited to find out what is actually to be a woman in Web3 with this question. How does it feel to be a woman in a mainly men's crypto world?
I mean, it's fun. I personally really like it because it's just kind of, I would just call it like a bro environment, right? Everyone's open, everyone's direct, everyone wants to share knowledge, give value, and be contributing to something. And yeah, so the environment itself, I really like it. I don't see myself as a minority. I think as we are saying, like in blockchain and crypto, Web3, everyone's equal. So I don't really think of myself as a minority at all. I think it's just very inclusive, and it doesn't really matter what gender you are. You're welcome. If you're contributing, if you're sharing value, if you're kind of, engaging yourself and working towards a greater good, like it doesn't matter what gender you are.
Great. So you are telling me that there haven't been even once a case where you have been underestimated in the Web3 space?
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, underestimated, yeah, definitely. But isn't it like, it can also be really beneficial to be underestimated, I think, if people expect less and then you show them, that you actually really rock, they're like, oh, damn,
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people underestimating you is giving you a lot of opportunities to smack them in the face without them even understanding that something like that is happening.
Exactly.
So
it gives you an unfair advantage. You can really use it to your advantage.
Absolutely, but you have to be clever in order to do that. It's much easier to start complaining how bad it is that someone is underestimating you. But I can admit that in a serious part of my life, I have been trying to make people think that I'm less than what I am, because in the end, they have been, in most of the cases, pleasantly surprised by what I can deliver in the end. So I think that underestimation can be even used in the relations, because everybody loves to be surprised, pleasantly surprised by by the skills, by the experience that the other person is having. But if you start a communication or relation with someone by showing how great you are, you know that the expectations will be also very high. And if you underperform, then you are failing in the eyes of this person, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to like overpromise and underdeliver.
Exactly. This is a great recipe for a failure.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
you mentioned that you are advising blockchain companies about their business stuff. So I suppose that you have some sort of experience in the Web2 world related to that.
In Web2, I was mostly engaged in finance, some finance and marketing as well. So when I stepped into Web3, I stepped into Web3 mostly starting with marketing and helping projects with their marketing. But then I quickly moved over again to finance and business ops, because that's definitely where my passion lays, and also my skill set. You know, I'm a very organized person, and I can keep an overview over like processes and cash flows and stuff like that. It just comes very easy to me. And I wouldn't say like I'm just so an advisor is usually someone you just consult like maybe like once a month around like what a project's doing, where you see it going and stuff. So that's definitely not me. I step into projects kind of as a team member. So I will be on the team calls where I'm needed and so forth, and actually do my part as a team member, rather than just like an external, hey, you should be doing this. So I actually help projects and do work for them.
Really nice, really nice. So, and I suppose in most of the cases you are the only woman in the team.
Yes. Yes, actually, in all of them.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but I was expecting it. So it's really great that I'm having you here, because, like I said, I'm really curious to find out more how women feel here. So, what are the benefits actually of being a woman in the Web3 space?
Oof.
Yeah, I know that it may be a tough question, but at the same time, I suppose we'll have some women listeners here that may be wondering, like, is it actually beneficial to try to push that much and come in this not very certain and very volatile world of crypto? So maybe there are some benefits.
I mean, I think the benefits come with the industry, not really with, with being a woman. What I have found in my experience, people don't really differentiate. Like if you're a woman, if you're a man, like everyone gets treated equally. That's what we were saying, right? Like crypto, the blockchain space, it's all about being inclusive, granting the same opportunities to everyone, regardless of background, and I mean, gender as well. So what I find as the advantage is just the industry itself, right? Like contributing to this purpose of inclusivity and equality and actual decentralization and like free speech and all these things, working towards that, rather than, like I couldn't tell you that I've ever been like, oh, I'm so glad to be a woman in Web3. Like I'm just happy to be in Web3, I don't know. I think I don't really see my team members treating me differently. And you could say that's a disadvantage or an advantage. I don't know. Like for example, like the group chats I have, I definitely sometimes feel like leaving them because the guys just talk about guy stuff, and I'm like, wait, I actually don't want to be reading any of this. But for the rest, it's fun because I actually like, and I'm a very direct person myself, and I see myself as like being quite rational and just like forward thinking, and I think guys usually have that more than girls. So it really is the industry I want to be working in, and I fit quite well in the culture. Yeah. So I just really enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, there's no drama and all of that. So it's like a super straightforward thinking, like solution oriented kind of environment that you would like that anyone would step in.
Yeah, absolutely. You're
And
100%.
it's so
Yeah.
fast paced, you can't really lack on. And I don't know, for example, if you have a disagreement on someone, like there's no time to be sulking about it or something. It's like you move on and you're solution oriented and you come up with a plan of how you're going to solve this issue, rather than in like slow paced environments where it's like, okay, you take a break and you do this. That doesn't happen in crypto.
Yeah, you have to think and act fast, otherwise you
Yeah,
will be left behind.
very true.
100%. Yeah. So when you have been sharing your introduction with us, you mentioned something that I want to ask you about. You said that you are a passionate crypto investor. So is there a difference to be a passionate crypto investor and just being a crypto investor?
Um, That's a really good question. I don't remember saying passionate crypto investor, but I'm just very passionate about crypto and like where I see it going and the effect that it has on the world. I mean, I guess there's a lot of like cash grabbers in the industry, which have been heard a lot in the past through, I don't know, investing in Ponzi's or whatever. And I think the passionate are more the ones actually, investing in the coins where they see they're contributing to the future that they want to see. I mean, there's coins that are going to go up, right? And I mean, it's not wrong to invest in them, but there's also coins that are not so, that are kind of detrimental to the future of a decentralized crypto, a decentralized kind of like private future. And then there's coins that are, I don't know, like privacy coins or actual coins that are building a financial system that is beneficial to the world, right? So it's like, where do you put your priorities and where do you choose to invest? Is it like, are you just in here to make money? Yeah, I mean, sure, there's no wrong reasons. Or are you here to contribute to, leaving this world a better place than you found it?
Really interesting to be part of a space where there are some people that are trying to change the world in a good way, and there are some other guys and gals, of course, that are trying to steal from the world, to destroy it somehow. And also,
I mean, look at FTX.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. Like FTX is the great example of guys that have decided to do something that in the end was planned to fail. Like when you check all the facts about this company, like you don't have to be a genius to find out that they'll fail.
Yeah, it's such a like, it didn't come as a surprise to me. Thankfully I had never invested because I don't know, it always seemed a little bit sus to me. SBF just didn't really seem like a trustworthy guy. So for me, I never even considered like signing up to FTX. I think this is a great lesson for people to see that if you put your money somewhere, you need to actually do the due diligence. Like how many things are surfacing about like FTX on Alameda Research is like, they didn't even have an accounting system. They didn't even track how many employees were working for FTX. And it's all just so sus that, I mean, there were so many red flags for investors who would do their due diligence. I don't even know how so many VCs and stuff invested in them. It's hard to wrap my head around because it seems like they didn't do their due diligence at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like, it's, saying that, I mean, what happened with Celsius or Three Arrows Capital or Luna Terra. It's, for me, like, as much as it hurts hurt people and investors, I do think that these things are also necessary to kind of get people back on the ground and be like, okay, if you put your money somewhere, you really need to look at who is behind it, who is the team, what are they doing. Look at the white paper, look at the, look at all the systems, who do they have relations to, what's the whole background, like how is this set up. And with FTX, like there were a lot of red flags.
Yeah, but the thing is that there is a good amount of people that are, let's say, lazy and
Yeah.
don't do that, like the due diligence. They just trust others. Like,
Yeah.
for example, a big influencer is mentioning this name all the time. And at the same time, you have, like you said, big VCs that have put money there. So what else you need to believe that this is a great exchange? And you are reading everywhere that this is the second biggest exchange in the crypto. So like, you're convinced, you don't have to do anything, you just have to put your money there and not even hope that things will go well. You have the feeling that everything is right?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I mean, for someone who's not very much into the crypto space, I think all the boxes were actually checked to invest in the crypto space. I mean, like big influencers, I'm not sure if you know Elio Trades, for example.
Yeah.
He had, so to say, a partnership with FTX. He revealed that he actually was never paid by them, but he had an agreement with them. And sure, if you see it as a non-crypto investor, if you see those things, then you're like, oh, this must be a trusted platform. I see that like thinking as well. On the other hand, though, doing the research, I think there was someone on the board who had run in trouble with the law a couple of times. I don't remember if it was tax, but it was some sort of financial run-ins, with the law. And those things are just, if people would take, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour to look into things, I think those things would have uncovered.
Yeah, I agree with you, but at the same time, you have to know where to search in order to find such information, because I don't think that it's pretty obvious what you're saying. You can find that because you have experience, but if you are new, like it will be hard to find such frauds and issues with the law without knowing where in this information.
Yeah. It might not be so easy. I don't know.
Otherwise, there haven't like the case wouldn't be that big, I would say. Like now we have many people that are struggling and suffering from that. So maybe it wasn't that obvious that there was a bomb that was waiting to explode.
I'm not sure if it's that or if people are just too trusting still. Because, I mean, same with the Luna and Terra collapse. Like, if you look at the model, right, like how they set it up, it was never sustainable. Like, it wasn't a sustainable model. So, I don't, like, as I said, I never looked into FTX. I never invested with them. So I didn't do my due diligence on them. So I can't really speak of how easy it would have been to find these things. But based on how many red flags have been uncovered since the bankruptcy, I feel like there should have been some things at least that are findable,
Let me tell you this. I know some very clever guys in the crypto space that are suffering really bad right now because they have lost a lot of money on FTX, which makes me think that it hasn't been that obvious. Like, maybe if you have been an insider or someone that is spending a lot of time researching, maybe you should have found it. But I'm telling you, I'm talking about guys with like 4 or 5 years of experience in crypto, and they have lost, like, I have not a friend, but someone that I know that has lost more than 50% of his earnings there.
Is he actively trading, or why did he keep so much money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's an active trader. And Anyway, FTX is FTX. There are a lot of lessons that we can learn from it. But I have, let's say, insider information about you, that you are very interested in self-development and spirituality. Right? I'm
yes,
right here?
Yes.
So I'm also very much in that. That's why I'm really excited about it. So how do you think spirituality and self-development can help you as a crypto investor? You didn't expect this question, I know.
Absolutely not, no. And I need to think about this answer, because otherwise I'm going to just sound woo-woo. How do self-development and spirituality help me with crypto investing?
Yeah, to be a better crypto investor, I can give you a small hint, like working on your mindset, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the more you are kind of in touch with yourself, the more you've been working on your mind, the less you FOMO into things, right? The less there's a risk of you actually just aping into coins because you see them riding on a wave, and you see all the hype that there is around it. I think just being in touch with yourselves helps a lot with you making conscious decision about where you put your money. And obviously, I think the more you develop your spiritual kind of sense, your intuition in a way, also that really helps with where you put your money, right? Because all the centralized exchanges and Terra Luna, I wasn't invested at all in them. I had no interest in investing in them. And I'm not saying I never lost money. Like, I have put my money in Ponzi's, I've lost money. But since I really started, going down on more of a spiritual path, and developing my intuition, I haven't been hurt by any of the downfalls of the latest news, around crypto.
Of these really nice and very black swans. So because this is what they call, right, black swan events.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is what I meant when I was asking about spirituality, because I believe that if you are working on yourself, you can definitely develop a better intuition. And sometimes in this full of news and information world of crypto and everything, actually, it's not only crypto, it's everything. Like, the information is abundant. Like, if you don't have this way of filtering the information by going through yourself, inside yourself, it's much harder to figure out what's true and what's lie. And like you said, maybe you have felt that FTX or Luna is wrong, and you haven't had the clear explanation of that. And this is why intuition is sometimes, actually always, much better than the logic thinking. But at the same time, it's very hard to have a great intuition if you don't work on it.
I think a great intuition takes a lot of work. You're definitely not... Well, you might be born with it, but I think a lot of experiences in the world, they take away your intuition, because people are telling you this is the way it is, and that's how the way that is, and this is the lesson to learn from that. And actually, I think intuition is there's not enough emphasis on intuition when making just any decision in life. So I completely agree with you, and it's cool that you're bringing this up. And I also like the way you phrase things. Like, there's an abundance of information and news out there, and you can't sift through it all. And you can't read it all and be like, okay, this is right, this is wrong. Sometimes you just need to kind of tune in with yourself and be like, okay, what is it that I believe? Where do I see this company going? Where do I see this company going? And ignore all the things that are being said about it. Like I was saying, aping into things, like FOMOing into into green candles. Like when something's riding up, you see it going up and up and up and up and up, and then just kind of listening. I mean, obviously, like you can research as much as you want, and I'm sure some people researched a lot about FTX and Luna and Terra, and maybe there wasn't that many red flags which were obvious. As I was saying, I didn't look into them like at all. But again, I do think, as you were saying, it was kind of my intuition who was just not interested in those things at all.
I just figured out that being a woman in crypto has a very big advantage, and it is that women have a better intuition than men. So sometimes, not even in investing, like in business, is I'm sure that you agree with me. It's very important to base some of the most important decisions on the company based on your intuition.
I completely agree with you. I wouldn't necessarily say that women have a better intuition. I just think it is in society. It is more kind of the norm that men just go on factual basis, and women, go more with the flow. I mean, feminine and masculine energy, right? Like objectively versus subjectively, and all these things. So I think men could have, as I said, like intuition is not something that you're born with, like that you have or don't have. Everything can be learned in that way. So if guys would start, like if men would start trusting their gut feeling more, I definitely think, it could be completely equal. But it's all about, I think, what I see society is, that guys are more expected to be just rational and just objective, and, following the steps from 1 through 5, and doing the norm and whatever. So, and women are then more, kind of going with the flow, right? That's how society kind of sees the two genders and the difference of the two genders. So once those things are balanced, guys start, trusting more their intuition, and women actually look at more of like a factual kind of like basis rather than only trusting their gut. I think that would be the perfect balance.
Yeah. We as a man, definitely, we love protocols.
Yeah.
Like go here, do that. After that, do the other thing. I think it's it is how we have been developed.
Exactly.
Like in the end. So let's get back a little bit to the more how to say it, touchable world of crypto, if you can even touch crypto in the end. But maybe some people don't like that much this spirituality part of the world, because in crypto it's all numbers, like it's all information, facts, news, and things like that. So what do you think is actually stopping people from being profitable as crypto investors, except having a bad intuition, of course?
I think patience is a virtue, and it's very underestimated or undervalued by a lot of people. How many people come to ask me and are like, okay, where do I invest? I want to double my money within X time. And I'm like, I'm not telling you. I'm definitely not giving you a coin on this, because it just doesn't work like that. I mean, first of all, I'm not a trader, right? So I don't do the technical analysis, and I couldn't tell you, okay, this coin is going to double by then. But also, secondly, I don't think that's really, I mean, sure, the purpose, I mean, a positive effect of crypto is that it can really make you money. But I think you should really just do the research of the coins that you and your values also stand behind, and that you support the mission of, right? I think, I don't know, I think investing in a coin just because it's going to double, like, sure, you can do that, but how much research are you going to put into it to say that it will double? Like, what's your research around it? There's so many good coins out there. There really is. I don't want to name any names. But if you look at current coins and the partnerships they're forming with actual real world companies, by like building the financial system and the future of, you know, energy and just all of these things, like there's such amazing things that are going on in the space. And if you invest in one of those companies that has such a future and a real world use case, sooner or later you're going to be making your money, right? But it's probably not going to be tomorrow. It's probably not going to be next year. You know, I mean, the economy, it's volatile, it's fluctuating. So I think patience is something that a lot of people just don't have in the space. And obviously, if you want to invest in crypto and you put your money in what last November was it or something? Oh no, that's when it tanked. Okay, so let's say like I don't know, last year, you know, whatever. When you put your money on ETH when it was double what it is now, pretty much, and then Thanksgiving it all tanked last year. Yeah, surely you're not going to be amused, but if you have the patience, rather than taking out now, if you have the patience to wait another couple of years, you're gonna have made your money worth. But it's the thing is that so many people, they buy high and they sell low. Like last year when Bitcoin was around like 50K, one of my cousins, he works in a bank, and he told me when it was 50K, so many people came and like were like, how do I invest in crypto? Like, tell me how to open a wallet. Like, how do I buy Bitcoin? Whatever. And it's just like when it 50K, you know what I mean? Like it was at one of its highest ever. And then people invest. And then obviously when it tanks to whatever, 20, they're like, oh shit, it's a Ponzi. I want to get out. Like, how do I sell? And it's like, you lost 30 grand, but okay, you know?
Yeah. We humans are sometimes very strangely thinking creatures. So we all have the explanations of our actions, even though sometimes they don't sound very logical. So patience is very important, and I think it's important in everything. Even if you are a business owner, if you don't have a patience, there is a big chance to fail in the end. So I'm wondering, like, what actually are the lessons that you would want to know when you have started investing in crypto? Some lessons that you think that if you know when you have been starting, then your career would have been more profitable.
One of the lessons that comes to mind: if it seems too good to be true, it definitely is too good to be true.
The slogan of FTX, yeah. The slogan of FTX.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I invested in some things that gave a crazy APY, and when I entered the space, I saw the APY, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna invest in this. Like, I'll double my money soon. But I didn't really think, you know, there's a lot of coins, so to say, they're printing their coins, in air quotes, from absolutely nothing. And sooner or later, obviously, when it's so inflationary, that model, it's going to tank at some point. And I didn't really think that through at all, because I just saw the high numbers and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna gain from this, but I really didn't. So I think that's one lesson, that if you see your rewards coming in from a currency that has absolutely no value and is just inflationary and has a high APY, it's probably going to tank sooner or later. So make sure that there's some sort of APY or staking or so, that actually they have some value which they can, so to say, back it up with, that they have a roadmap of adding value to the project, that they have partnerships that add value to the overall project and help it get to where it wants to be.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. So it seems that you have seen a lot of projects during your crypto investing career. So Do you think that you can actually name the features or the characteristics of the perfect project that you would almost immediately invest in when you see it?
So my process usually of when I look at a project is the first thing is I would look at the team and I would look at their background and kind of do my due diligence on them and see kind of like where have they worked before, are they suitable to carry out the vision of the project. And obviously, I mean, criminal records are quite easy to find these days. So it's always important, you know. I mean, if they have something on the criminal record, like I don't even know, like misbehaving or you know what I mean, parking, whatever. You see those on criminal records too. Like there's a bunch of softwares online where you can actually look up anyone's criminal record. But if they have something in terms of financials, then that's a major red flag, right? Like for example, that was the case with what was it called? Time Wonderland. Like Safu, I don't know if that project says something, but basically he was hired as the treasurer of Wonderland of the coin named Time, and he actually came from an exchange where he had stolen a couple millions, I think. So things like that, I think, you know, everyone needs to be making their due diligence, and Daniele Sesta at that point wasn't doing his due diligence on the treasury guy that he hired, which is really unfortunate because once people found out, the coin tanked. But anyway, so I think that team is really important of like, can they carry out the vision? Like if it's a gaming coin, like have they studied tokenomics, game development, you know, what kind of experience, what kind of games have they launched? How have they done? That is really important to me. Because I think teams make or break it. So then also the tokenomics, like how sustainable is the model of the tokenomics? And what else? And the vision of the overall project. I wouldn't invest in a project where I don't support its vision, right? I mean, there's a lot of kind of centralized coins that people think and believe in, and you know, see the value, or see it like doubling, 10xing, whatever. But if I don't believe in actually what the vision of the project is and where the roadmap is going, I wouldn't invest.
Yeah, these are very important things that you are mentioning, and I absolutely agree with you that the team can make it or break it, even if they have the best idea in the world. If they can't implement it, in the end, it's just idea, and there are plenty of ideas in the air.
Correct.
So if you can't do it right, like it's easy to generate ideas, but it's much harder to actually implement them.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, so this brings me to my favorite question in the podcast, which is like, how do you think a person can do more investing rather than gambling in crypto?
For investing rather than gambling, I think the same. Just making sure that the project that you're investing in actually has a value that is going to be needed not only in 1 year but also in 5 years. And it's hard to, obviously no one can tell the future, but you do see the whole economy moving towards, you know, being completely virtual, being on the blockchain, and so forth. So is the project that you're investing in actually contributing to that? Or I mean, I'm mostly talking about like financial coins in a way. I'm not, if I'm sure you can do that with games too. I invest very little in games, or metaverses. But I think, you know, looking at how they're going to be building, how they're going to be positioning themselves in the future. For example, you see Bill Gates and all of them talking about how everything like team meetings and stuff are going to be held in the metaverse. So if you want to be investing in a metaverse, kind of look at what metaverse is best positioning themselves to be hosting these kind of things, right? Who has partnerships, who's making partnerships with companies, with businesses that are going to be holding their meetings in the metaverse. Or if it's around gaming, same story. What games kind of, I'm not a gamer, but like what games are in the real world very well liked, and what games are upcoming that are copying that, or what games are actually, I mean, there's so many coins that are actually building the underlying kind of how do you say, like the underlying technology, or I mean marketplaces and so forth, things like that actually have a very sustainable model and a lot of partnerships with upcoming big companies. Those are ones that I usually pay attention to.
Nice. So
and obviously one more thing, now that there's like the SEC and a lot of more regulations are coming to crypto, it's also very, very important to look at how compliant is the project. Where is it based? If it's based in America, like if it's registered in America, is it SEC compliant? Because if it's not, chances are it's not going to be around for much longer.
Yeah, SEC is putting a good amount of projects out of the business. And they will continue doing that because I have a feeling that they love doing that.
They love just like,
so,
getting their money where they, actually have no business in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in the end, like it's great to be a crypto investor and to believe in the opportunities that the Web3 world is going to give to the current Web2 world. But there are a lot of people that still don't believe that crypto is the future. Q, what makes you think that the future of crypto is actually bright?
I think the monetary system is always changing, right? I mean, we've been through so many processes kind of where the main currency is just changing, and the economy is in a downtrend, in an uptrend, and all of these aspects to it. And now we see it moving into blockchain technology, right? Into having this transparent, hopefully more decentralized in the future environment. And I mean, I'm not saying it's the future, like that it's going to be around in like 50 years, 60 years, we don't know that, but it's definitely on a trend that it is going to be the future within the next 10, 15 years, and after that you reevaluate, like, you shouldn't just put your money into crypto and like forget about it for however many years, like you need to watch where you put your money. But considering how many companies are entering the crypto space, the blockchain space, how many industries are entering it, I mean, around privacy, around AI, around anything, real estate, everything is moving into like the tokenization of assets, the making smart contracts around like processes. Any industry is benefiting from it, right? Making it more efficient, making it more fast, more secure, more transparent. So yeah, it's definitely going to be around for a while. And after that, maybe there's another improvement to the system, right? I'm not saying it's like crypto is not the only way to be improving things, but it's definitely like the most feasible and the closest at the moment for the monetary system to move into.
But we'll see. Maybe after that it will be Web 4.
Exactly.
5. Yeah.
I mean, who knows, right? I mean, you're just riding the wave and like going the flow. And I think it's really important to stay up to date with all of the changes that are ongoing. and as long as you're doing that, you're on, you're ahead of it.
Yeah, and to move the conversation a little bit back of what we say, if you are connected to yourself, in the end, it doesn't matter if it is Web3, Web4, Web65, because you can't control that. The only thing that you can control is yourself.
Exactly, and your response to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And in most of the cases, this is where the problems are coming from your response, not from what's happening. But this is a topic for another conversation, and maybe on another type of podcast. Definitely. About self-development and spirituality. So I suppose people are not here for that. So it was an amazing pleasure to have you here, Q. And I suppose people are wondering where they can find more about you and connect with you.
Yeah, I mean, anything really, like Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm not anonymous. I don't have like an alias or anything. So you can just post my name, or I can send you my links afterwards, and you can post them there.
Perfect. Yeah, I suppose it will be very useful for our listeners to find you out through the links that we're going to put in the show notes, because the crypto community is still small, so it's great to have as many connections as possible, because your network is your network, right?
So true. I so agree with that statement.
Yeah. So, Kyo, thank you very much again for being a guest on my show. It was
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for reaching out, Pope.
Yeah, it was an amazing pleasure to ask you these questions and hear your answers. And like I said, you're the second lady here on the podcast. So I hope that more ladies will listen to our podcast in the future. So thank you very much again to all of our listeners that have reached this point. I truly appreciate your support, and I would be really grateful if you subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends. In all cases, I'm Power, the CMO of Seasonal Tokens, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Bye.